And welcome to the Olympic area of Rio de Janeiro, nestled between the lagoon and the mountains, and the Rio Olympic Arena, where the women's basketball, wheelchair basketball tournament is reaching its conclusion. And this is the classification game for places 5 and 6 in the tournament, which in this session in the Rio Olympic Arena will be followed by the women's gold medal game between Germany and the United States. Interesting little connection here. The Canadian captain, Janet McLaughlin, is married to the men's German coach, Nikolai Zeltinger. Canada with a 3-2 record in the tournament. China with a 2-3 mark. They each lost in the quarterfinals. Canada beat Great Britain, beat Argentina, lost to Germany, beat Brazil, and then lost to Netherlands in the quarterfinals. China beat Algeria and France, then lost to the US and the Netherlands, and lost to Great Britain in the quarterfinals. So an interesting matchup. For Canada, the size of Janet McLaughlin, one captain, and the all-around play of Cindy Ouellette, the other captain, will be matched by the speed of the Chinese team. Jameng Dai, the 21-year-old, has been a big star for them coming on. Guidi Liu and their captain Yung Long has moved back into a more secondary role. And let's meet the Chinese team now in ascending numerical order. Tianjiao Li is number 4. Xuejing CHEN is number 5. Xiaoyan WANG is number 6. Guidi Liu is number 7. The captain Yun Long is number 8. Haizhen Cheng, the center, is number 9. Suiling Lin is number 10. Jameng Dai, who's emerged as the big star for this team, number 11. Mingzhu DENG is number 12. Yanhua Li is number 13. HUANG is number 14. And Damei CHEN is number 15. And the head coach of China is Yuansheng. You might recognize, if you're a basketball fan, the assistant coach Zhidan Wang, the very tall gentleman who used to play AB basketball for China. And now the team from Canada. First out, number 4, Pebbles, Tamara, STEEVES. 5, the captain, Janet McLaughlin. 6, Arinn Young, one of many players from the University of Alabama on various teams in this tournament. 7 was Cindy Ouellette. 8, Rosalie Lalonde, the 2 Quebecers in the team. 9, Amanda Yan. 10 is Katie HARNOCK, another product of the University of Alabama. 11 is Darda Sales. 12, Tracey Ferguson, one of many University of Illinois products here. 13 is Jamey Jules. 14, Erica GAVEL. And 15 is Melanie HAWTIN. And the coach of Canada is Bill Johnson. The assistant coach is Michael Broughton. And now with the teams gathered on court, stretched across the foul lines on opposite sides, we will hear the national anthems of both countries, starting with the national anthem of China, March of the Volunteers. And you see the Canadian fans gathered on their side, and they will now hear their national anthem, O Canada. Well, you saw the Canadian rooting section for number 6, Arinn Young. Juice, as they call her. The nickname arises from being told by a coach to drink a carton of juice partway through a game, and it gave her energy. She played well, and she's been called Juice ever since. There is the Canadian lineup. The 2 players you most have to watch are Janet McLaughlin, who is the big center veteran at 39 years old, and Sydney Ouellette, who's probably the best all-around player for them. She's 27 years old. They'll get good help. Rosalie, LaLonde, Katie HARNOCK, Tracey Ferguson. When you look at the point minus, which is something that basketball's adopted from ice hockey, actually, the Canadian national sport, or national pastime, I should say, they use plus minus, and Tracey Ferguson is plus 11, which means her team has scored 11 more points when she's on the court than not. And for China, as I said, DAI and LYU 7 are the 2 players who've carried the bulk of the scoring for them. Wang, the captain, has been coming off the bench. There's the coach, Yuansheng, and they're often better when CHENG, number 9, is in the game and able to be effective on the low post. But the big challenge for them will be defending McLaughlin inside. McLaughlin, Ouellette, HARNOCK, Ferguson, and Jamey Jules, who is married to Adam Lancia on the Canadian men's team here at the Paralympic Games in Rio de Janeiro, make up the starting lineup for Canada. And for China, Chen, Liu, Long, and Suiling Lin, we haven't mentioned, and Dai. Chen will play in the backcourt, and Lin will play in the forecourt, but Cheng will come off the bench for the Chinese. There's Canada's record, a narrow win over Great Britain, which forced a 3-way tie at the end of the Group A competition with Germany and Canada. A big win over Argentina. They lost to Germany and then beat Brazil, lost to the Netherlands, who were second in Group B in the quarterfinals. China also lost to the US and Netherlands after racking up wins over Algeria and France, both by big margins to start off their competition, and then were beaten by Great Britain, who played a very good game in the quarterfinals to beat China. So these 2 teams playing for 5th and 6th place. The Chinese were 5th in London 2012. There are your officials for the game: Gustavo Mathias from the host nation Brazil, Krunoslav Pike from Croatia, and Jamey Oseguera from the United States are the 2 umpires. And as I was saying, the Chinese finished 5th at the London Paralympics in 2012. They were 7th the year before in Beijing, so moving up the ladder, as it were. They won the Asia-Oceania qualifier, beating Australia in the final of that tournament, 59-43, and a result that, well, it surprised a lot of people, and it kept Australia from qualifying here for the Rio Games. And Wang, strangely, was the MVP of that tournament. Canada were world champions in 2014 when the tournament was held in Canada. They have won Olympic gold 3 times, 92, 96, and 2000. They took bronze as that team started to fade in 2004. And that's actually the 2nd most successful country in terms of medals in the Paralympic Games in women's wheelchair basketball. Canada controlling the tap, and that's Cindy Ouellette. And that's McLaughlin. Ouellette from Quebec City. And the rebound is put in by Ouellette. And Canada lead 2-0. And Ouellette may be from Quebec City, but she is currently living in Los Angeles, where she studies biomedical science at the University of Southern California. Oh, and that's a great pass, open underneath, and it won't fall. Dai going for the offensive rebound. And Dai is going to get the foul on the rebound, loose ball foul. That's the first foul for China. And you see a large number of the people at university or who are with university degrees in this tournament studying things like biomedical science, movement science, and you can understand why. That's OUELLET into McLaughlin, and she's got the shot just on the outside, the baseline, just outside the paint. That's going to be the hardest thing for China to stop right now because they have no one who is as big as McLaughlin and as high up in the chair as she is. It's 4-0 to Canada. Oh, that's a nice penetration, and then the shot out to DAI. She misses the rebound to McLaughlin. OUELLET brings it up. And right away, Chinese getting 2 substitutions ready to come in. And there's a foul in the front court. 3 substitutions now. And CHENG is coming in, and that was what I sort of expected to see her in the starting lineup because she is the biggest player they can put inside, and they do need that inside presence. The foul was on DAI, that's her second, and that would be bad news for China if she gets into foul trouble early. You get 5 fouls in this game, and if someone picks up too early, it puts them in a dangerous situation. Once they get their 3rd in the first half, they generally will sit out. So CHENG now coming up to help break the pressure. Li to her, Long. So the veteran Long Young is in now. CHENG, DAI setting a screen for her. And CHENG lines up a shot. And that one's going to be off, and the rebound comes to OUELLET. Li and DENG also came in along with CHENG. LIN, LIU, and CHEN went out. So their second leading scorer in the tournament is actually out of the game right now, substituted for. That's LIU. In and out on the shot by HARNOCK, and the rebound by CHENG. CHENG comes up. Sales on her. Nice. You saw DAI put the pick on Sales, and Sales said something, and that was a nice bit of work by CHENG, but she couldn't get the shot to fall. And the rebound comes to McLaughlin. They try to keep her in the back court. DAI getting in front of her, make it difficult for her to get into the front court and for Canada to set up that offense. When they set up and they get McLaughlin's presence down low, it's difficult for them to defend. McLaughlin now is in possession. You heard her call for the ball, and trying to pick up the pass, she reaches backwards, falls over in the chair. They stop play to pick up the chair. There's no foul involved, and the ball went out of bounds off McLaughlin, as you see there. And so China will inbound, trailing 4-0 with 3 minutes gone. Long is very quick, and you see the result right through the Canadian defense, end to end by Long, the captain. OUELLET now. Good quick defense by Long. She turned around. OUELLET tried to move on her, but pass inside to McLaughlin. Off the glass, misses, gets her own rebound. Changes position, gets her own rebound again. It was tipped away from her by CHENG, but there'll be a foul on CHENG. And not a shooting foul. Well, it is a shooting foul. Long rebound, but not in the shooting motion, but still about to start it. She misses the first. But right now, I think Coach Xu is justified in the changes he made in the team. And of course, you often have to substitute more than one player at a time because you have to keep the points level on your team. The players are graded by the level of impairment to their motion. DAI now, and that one won't fall for her. It goes from 1 point to 4.5. The higher the points, the lower the degree of impairment, and you can't have more than 14 points on the court at any given time. So oftentimes, to shuffle your lineup, you have to change multiple players to keep the points level. So that's great defense by Li on OUELLET, but OUELLET just got a little bit of an opening and shot over her and puts it in. It's 7-2. You don't get all that many times when you have an open one-on-one situation there. And again, we stop for the chair as Jamey Jules and her chair get righted. But it's a fascinating matchup when you do, the defensive player trying to anticipate the chair movement. And of course the chairs, they're strapped so tightly in the chairs become like part of the body and reflect the movement. And there's CHENG. And again, surprised she wasn't starting because she brings the offense down low that they need as well as the defense. And you see her right there with the backing McLaughlin. Now she goes back inside, stops McLaughlin again. Meanwhile, there's a great pass to OUELLET underneath, and we're going to have a jump ball. And let's see which way the possession arrow is pointing. A lot of Brazilian fans have been coming to this basketball game. They made tickets more available, lower prices than the Olympic Games. They've created a real family atmosphere. They've been specifically selling family tickets to these games, 2 games per session. So you get a full day out when you're seeing the basketball. And when you come into the Rio Olympic Arena, there's a huge area set aside, one large room for baby strollers, and it's always full. And there's DAI now. She gets onto the low on the baseline and shoots over OUELLET, and it's 7-6 to China. So that move of bringing CHENG in and playing CHENG and DAI is working out so far for China. They've pulled back into this game in the early going, and there's going to be a foul against China. And that will be the team's 4th, which means the next one will put them into the penalty situation. 17 on the shot clock for Canada, but it goes into McLaughlin, drops it to OUELLET, and she used the glass nicely there. It was a bad angle, had to get it way up on the glass to get it to drop down through the hoop. And now China on the break, said they're quick. They catch Canada napping, and it's 9-8 now as Li gets the fast break basket. You see that possession arrow I was referring to on the scorer's table now pointing in Canada's favor for the next evenly contested ball, start of the period if nothing else happens. Ferguson, OUELLET, McLaughlin. Now she's way away from the basket, and they'll want to keep her there. They've got 2 on her. She's getting a screen, and she uses it from the outside and hits. It's 11-8 Canada. Pass underneath, and it was tipped away by HARNOCK. And off of Cheng's hands. And we've got a foul. We'd like to see what the signal was. China in the penalty situation. McLaughlin misses, in and out. CHENG. Li wanted to set the screen for her. DAI now on the fadeaway, and it's good, and the foul. So DAI makes it 11-10, and she'll have a chance to tie the game with 3:22 to play in the first quarter. Rosalie LALONDE coming in for Canada. DAI with a shot to tie the game. Misses and McLaughlin clears the board. Lalonde from Montreal, as I said, with OUELLET, the other Quebecoise among the Canadian team. CHENG in that low position off the baseline, moves behind the screen, set by Long. Long goes to the basket, but CHENG takes the shot. But she was thinking, I think, or Long was looking for a pass, could have dropped it in over the defender. It's still 11-10, just under 3 minutes to play in the quarter. And all alone is Lalonde. Underhand layup misses, but McLaughlin pulls in for the rebound, and it's 13-10 Canada. And it's a traveling violation on DAI. The traveling rule is simple. You get 2 pushes of the wheel, and if you do use the 2 pushes, you then have to dribble. But any movement of the wheel is considered a push. So if you turn on the wheel, that's 1 push. If you turn back the other way, that would be a second, and that's what happened to DAI without gadding the dribble. And so much of this chess game that wheelchair basketball involves keeping players out of the play. McLaughlin nearly was defended into the backcourt, but she got a great pass up to Lalonde, and Lalonde is fouled as she goes for the shot by DENG. Coach Johnson, I think, was up. Good call for that. It's DENG who went flying, but you saw no question about the foul right across the arm, stopping the shot. I think Coach Johnson might have been asking for an unsportsmanlike foul, an intentional foul. Lalonde makes the first. And makes the second. Canada up to 15-10 lead now. Tamara Stevens has come in the game now for Canada. STEEVES has come into the game. Her nickname was Tam Tam when she was young, and then one of her uncles gave her the nickname Pebbles. And Pebbles being Bam Bam's friend in the Flintstones. And McLaughlin with the rebound, and Lalonde was quickly down. OUELLET comes up to help her. OUELLET can't get the layup in, and it's rebounded away by Liu for China. Long comes up, and that'll be a foul on Ferguson as she stopped Long. As I said, the strength of the Chinese team is the quickness. Very good in transition, not afraid to attack and penetrate, as you saw there. And Canada now with 3 team fouls. Lee just thought about the shot, gives it to CHENG. CHENG's got McLaughlin on her, but she gets Lee. Lee set that up. CHENG got a piece of that ball, and it's a 24-second violation as the shot didn't hit the rim, and therefore they didn't get a shot off. And OUELLET comes back to inbound to Lalonde. She can continue her dribble, and she does. Once you stop your dribble, you're not obliged to stop. You can pick your dribble right back up. OUELLET from the outside misses. The rebound comes to DENG, and she gives it quickly to DAI. And DAI's got, well, almost, McLaughlin got back quickly. China almost had the 3-on-2 break. Long. And outside off the glass by DENG. And it's 15-12. McLaughlin now double teamed on the inbounds pass, and that one was tipped out of bounds by WANG. OUELLET drops it to McLaughlin from the outside, and she hits. Beautiful shot. She's got great range for a big. Five-point lead for Canada. China can get the last shot away. And it hits nothing but glass. And Lalonde will heave it down court to OUELLET. And her shot didn't miss by much, but it doesn't go in. And the first quarter comes to an end with Canada leading China 17-12. Off to a quick start. Chinese came back. Canada applying a bit more pressure toward the end of the quarter. So it just went back and forth, but pretty balanced quarter, which I think you might see from the statistics, although the Canadian shooting percentage is bound to be better. Let's take a look at the quarter time stats. So yeah, only just a little bit, 47 to 40% from the floor, and turnovers, everything else pretty much equal. The big advantage for Canada, as it will be through the game, is rebounding. 4 offensive rebounds to 0, 9 defensive rebounds to 4. That's 13 to 4, a rebounding advantage. And that's a tough obstacle for China to overcome. They have to do it by getting breaks and by shooting from the outside. The score at the end of the first quarter, 17-12. This is the classification game for the 5th and 6th places in the Olympic women's wheelchair, in the Paralympic women's wheelchair basketball tournament. China against Canada. Canada leading 17-12 after one quarter, the start of the second quarter, and China with the possession arrow will put the ball in play, and the possession arrow will switch over to Canada for the next one. And right away, we've got to pick a chair up. Jamey Jules is down. And now up. DENG now for China as they inbound the ball again. Long. DAI is trying to screen for her. Lalonde comes out now and picks up Long, but Long gets the shot away. It misses and it goes off the bottom of McLaughlin's chair. China will have 14 on the shot clock as they inbound again. DAI was getting a good screen there, but passed it up to the top of the key to Lee, over to DENG, and DENG from the outside. The two-handed shot is in and out, and McLaughlin again with the rebound. And McLaughlin already has 10 rebounds in this game, just half a minute into the second quarter. Ball went off the Chinese, and Canada will inbound it. Lalonde and OUELLET. And we've got substitutions from Canada and people in the stands. Young and HARNOCK come in, and McLaughlin's going to get a rest, and STEEVES is going out as well. So McLaughlin with 10 rebounds in the first 10.5 minutes will sit down for a while. And Arinn Young will take her place as the big there, number 6. That's Young with the ball. Long cross-court heave to OUELLET, and OUELLET had to get that shot up quickly to try to beat the 24-second clock. But the violation is a turnover to Canada, and China will inbound. Lee. Young's on her. OUELLET's on DAI. And DAI, they get the ball to her in the paint. And DAI, well, she doesn't have her shooting touch today. Young, CHENG picked her up quickly and stopped her. The pass up court is hit by LALONDE. It bounces off Lee's face and out of bounds. And Canada will inbound. LALONDE now at the top of the key for Canada. HARNOCK. Youngs. Oh, good pass to LALONDE, and LALONDE tried to get the shot up, but she was fouled by DENG. And again, DENG reaching in and getting arm. Just too far across, the ball in the right arm, and she can get the left eye. Now it seems to be going out for arrest. She's replaced by Lee. So Lee and CHENG now will be the bigs for China. LALONDE makes the first. Misses the second, but gets her own rebound, and Canada with 14 on the clock. Start things over. OUELLET with the ball. Oh, great pass to LALONDE. LALONDE misses the layup, and the rebound goes to CHENG. CHENG, they start off, and again, quickly on the break, and Lee is going to miss her layup at the other end, and Youngs get the rebound for Canada, and there's a foul in the backcourt. And coming down on her elbow was Long. Two minutes gone in the second quarter. It's 17-12, and Young will get picked up or pick herself up. Put her strap back on. Nice bit of defense by CHENG on Young there. LALONDE sets a strong screen. The ball goes cross court to Jules. 6 on the shot clock. They're counting it down. OUELLET's going to take a 3 off the glass, misses, but a rebound by LALONDE. She misses the layup again, and it was knocked, I guess, through LaLonde's hands by Lee. And for Canada, Ferguson's going to come back into the game. Tracey Ferguson is 42, the oldest player on this Canadian team. Janet McLaughlin's 39. It is a veteran team. The young player, Rosalie Lalonde, is only 19. Arinn Young's only 20. But the core of the team has been with them for quite a while. Sales is 34, HARNOCK's 33. Oh, and bad miss by Lee, who had a good path to the basket. Again, getting the penetration and not being able to finish. But there's the finish for Canada as HARNOCK lays it in, and it's 20-12. 3 minutes gone in the second period. The Chinese team is somewhat younger. As I said, DAI at 21 is the youngest player. The rest are mostly in their mid-20s and early 30s. fighting for the rebound after the miss, and Ferguson comes up with it, gets it up to OUELLET. OUELLET just tried to push it down court, but HARNOCK wasn't going that way. DENG came up with the ball. And with the and there's been a timeout taken by China after some consideration and much deliberation among the referees, who whistled the play dead on the steal by DENG. The substitutions came in. There was no signal for why the play had been whistled dead, and then China took a timeout. They trail Canada 20-12. It's funny how quickly things get adopted. Every team now put hands on shoulders and then give their whatever word or phrase it is in unison before they come out. Now there's a foul as Li was coming in for China, and the foul's going to be on HAWTIN. Right there, wheel to wheel, as HAWTIN goes down. STEEVES. And for China, Li with the basket. 20-14. McLaughlin back in for Canada. OUELLET is called for an offensive foul. And she threw an awkward pass that went awry. And China have another possession and chance to pull closer with 6 minutes and change remaining in the first half. DENG. Long. Sets for the shot. Off the glass, won't go. Rebound up by HARNOCK for Canada. Mingzhu, well, you know, there's nothing much you can do when they get the shot in the right position and it just won't go. Ferguson fighting to get free, loses the ball, and it's finally picked up by CHENG. And here come China now, trying to fast break. Good job by McLaughlin to slow that one down. CHENG now again with the lead pass along. Good to Li. Li with the left-handed shot, same position, a little bit more tightly defended by LALONDE, and couldn't make that hit. HARNOCK now loses the ball to CHENG. CHENG looking for some help. And there's a blocking foul called on HARNOCK. HARNOCK, well, she made it easy there by losing the ball for CHENG to pick up, and then blocked her with the back of her chair. And Canada need a timeout now with 5:24 to play, and leading 20-14, but neither team playing really fluid basketball at the moment. Defense is trumping offense as we go along. And McLaughlin in the captain's role there, basically. working with their teammates. Meanwhile, the Brazilians are doing the Macarena in the crowd. A little help from the Canadian rooting contingent that's down here.
Lee doesn't take this shot. She's missed her last two. Deng, though, moves behind her screen, and Deng swishes.
20-16 now, just approaching the halfway point of the second quarter. LaLonde brings it down quickly for Canada. Puts it up high for McLaughlin. She spins around. The shot goes in and out, but she's fouled. And McLaughlin misses her first. Chang, good pass. Chen couldn't get it to go. Rebound comes off to Ferguson. Quickly up court intended for LaLonde. Can she chase it down? No, it gets out of bounds before she can. 4.5 minutes to play. And again, China will inbound. Turnovers officially 3 for China and 10 for Canada right now. Canadians who came out playing their game, getting the ball into McLaughlin, working that very well, have been put off their game now by the Chinese defense. And another shot by Lee that is an air ball. That's 2 out of the last 3. And that one pushed ahead by Ferguson to HARNOCK over to LaLonde. Ball handling right now has been a real problem for Canada. And there's a foul that should send LaLonde to the line as China are in the penalty situation. Foul was on Cheng. That's her third, and that's bad news for China because China only have 4 fouls. But that's bad news for China because Cheng, they played much better since she came into the game. Gave them that extra presence inside. And she was busy concentrating on Ferguson. HARNOCK got the shot away cleanly, but missed. It's still 21-16. And China with Cheng bringing the ball down. HAWTIN engaged in a little battle with Lee there. Lee tries to keep Ferguson away. Deng had to get the shot away before the buzzer went, and it was blocked by HARNOCK. HARNOCK's block was picked up by Deng, but she couldn't get another shot away, and it's a turnover on the 24-second violation with 3.5 minutes to play in the first half, and Canada still leading by 5. LaLonde for Canada. She's turned away by Cheng, but that pulls Cheng away from McLaughlin. They don't get the ball to McLaughlin, though. HARNOCK to Ferguson. Ferguson trying to make a little space. McLaughlin just picks the ball up away from her, and Canada have a 24-second violation. So dueling shot clock violations by Canada and China. It gives you an indication of how dislocated this game has become. And Cheng comes out now, and Dai replaces her 1-for-1. So in a sense, I think China's best period was when those two were in together, but when Cheng was in by herself, they still managed to defensively disrupt Canada enough to really bring the game down. The first quarter was 17-12. So far in this quarter, the score is 4-4. And Dai misses the shot. The rebound bangs around. Dai keeps it alive, and LaLonde finally takes it to McLaughlin. Dai gets a piece of the ball there. McLaughlin gets it up. And Canada can't get it across. Another turnover. Deng got to the ball first. She gets it back now at the top of the key. DAI sets a screen for her, and Deng misses the two, and McLaughlin with another rebound. And McLaughlin stopped cold by CHEN. And it's going to be an 8-second violation against Canada. Oh no, excuse me, it's going to be a foul on Deng for China, and that will be shot by Canada. And China take the timeout with 2:21 to play in the half. Coach Zhu, I think, wants to go over that pressure. It's really put Canada off their game in this second quarter. China have shot 2 for 15 in this quarter. Canada have shot only 1 for 6. They've only had 6 shots in the corner. Even China had 15 in the first quarter. That is very, very strange. 12 turnovers by Canada, 8 in this quarter to 4 by China. Normally, Canada get 40 points a game. In this tournament, at least 61% of their points have come in the paint. So China has done a relatively good job of keeping McLaughlin under control. Now, she's only played 10 minutes of the game. She's 4 for 8 from the floor, but they weren't getting any shots at all, the Canadians, while she was out of the game. And therefore, they're getting far fewer points in the paint. LaLonde. She misses the second, but McLaughlin reaches over for the rebound, and she misses the shot inside. And the whistle blows to untangle the chairs in the paint. Lee setting the screen, beautiful stuff from Long, who went around it and lays the ball in. It is 22-18 now, 4-point game as we go under 2 minutes, and China with more full court pressure. McLaughlin breaks that. Oh, that's a good pass from Yan, and LaLonde lays it in. Amanda Yan had just come into the game for Canada. And a great assist for her. It's 24-18. Oh, there's an opening. McLaughlin has to come over to defend Long. Gets her hand on the ball. It's a jump ball. The possession arrow was with Canada. And so it's a turnover to China. And Canada will inbound. I think you hear the official telling Long it's a white ball. She's not going to give it up easily, is she? HARNOCK now. Up to McLaughlin, to LaLonde. HAWTIN was trying to get the break. Shot clock's already down to 5. They have to try the long pass, and it's good. And there's a great shot by HARNOCK, but she did even better to control that pass, which was right up. She had to stretch to her maximum to get that one. She kept control and got the shot away as the shot clock wound down. It's 26-18 for Canada. Inside. And Lee with the basket, 26-20 now. China putting more pressure on LaLonde comes up and gets it to McLaughlin. 17 on the shot clock. It's 4 ahead of the game clock. HARNOCK. McLaughlin from the outside. She misses. There's nobody for the rebound except CHEN for China, and with 6 seconds left, China can come down with Lee. Lee looking for someone to shoot, and there's a foul, and that's a bad foul to give up with less than a second on the clock. Luckily for Canada, it's not a shooting foul. And China will have a chance for a catch and shoot, but it's going to have to be quick with 0.3 of a second. But the clock does not start until the ball's touched on court. So you can catch it and shoot it. Don't know if that beat the buzzer, but it's nowhere near the basket. And so that's the way the half ends. It was a 5-point game at the quarter. It's a 4-point game at the half, as Canada came alive in the last couple of minutes to score some points, but a low-scoring quarter, 9-8. Canada won that one by 1, and the margin, China, and the margin at the half is 6 points, 26-20. Confirmation, low scoring second quarter, very sloppy second quarter for most of that, primarily because of the pressure defense by the Chinese, which has forced 12 turnovers so far by the Canadians. And let's see how many points China's been able to get off of those turnovers. They have not been shooting well. The shooting percentage down to just over 30. Only 4 points for Canada from turnovers, but 8 from China from those 10 Canadian turnovers. Still a huge advantage in rebounding. It's now 20 for Canada on defense, 27, so 27-10 for Canada. They're not shooting well, but they're shooting better than the Chinese. They've shot 6 free throws, and China has missed the only one that they have taken, and that really is the difference of the game. The Chinese pressure has slowed Canada down, but China hasn't been able to turn that into enough points to take a lead, and the score at the half is Canada 26, China 20. Welcome back to the Rio Olympic Arena and the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games. It's women's wheelchair basketball. This is the classification match for 5th and 6th place between Canada and China. And at the half, Canada lead the People's Republic of China 26-20. First period was 17-12. Second period, only 17 points scored between the two teams, 9 for Canada, 8 for China. Canada took only 10 shots in that second period, which is astounding, but they had 8 turnovers, so nearly as many turnovers as shots for the Canadians. And the Chinese, with only 2 turnovers in the period, turned that into points for themselves. But each team has made 10 baskets, only 10 baskets in the half. The Canadians 10 for 25 shooting, that's 40%. The Chinese 10 for 32 shooting, that's 32%. And that's where most of the difference lies. The other big difference in rebounds, where Canada leads 27-10. The Chinese are not getting very many second shots. China inbounded to start the half. DAI with the shot. She's been very cold for China, and expecting her to really have a big game, but she's 2 for 8 from the floor right now. She's taken more shots than any of the other Chinese players, as you'd expect, but just hasn't been effective. OUELLET now with the ball. And OUELLET only played 13 minutes, so she got quite a bit of rest in that first half. And HARNOCK shot just beat the buzzer, but she couldn't get that one to fall. And China again coming down quickly, again missing the first shot, but this time getting a rebound and drawing the foul as well. Long with the rebound, a rare offensive rebound for China, and Jules, I believe, with the foul. That's her second, obviously just the team's first here in the first minute of the second half. Jules, Ferguson, HARNOCK, OUELLET, and McLaughlin, the 5 in for Canada. Lee, Long, DAI, CHEN, and Lee hits from the outside. Now, if the shots can start dropping for China from the outside, this is going to be a different game. They've been able to get good shots. They've been able to set up screens and get good shots from the outside. And because of the turnovers and the pressure, they've been able to keep Canada from setting up their pattern game, which is based around getting McLaughlin inside for close work. 4-point game, 26-22. OUELLET to McLaughlin outside. Oh, and a good entry pass. And the shot is canned by Jules. And it's 28-26. You could see DAI there. She was secondary, waiting for McLaughlin to move. And while she did, Jules went past and got the path to the basket. Very quickly down court. CHEN, a good pass to DAI, but DAI doesn't take the shot. She spins back around and gives it to Long. Long, who is so quick and fearless in penetrating. Now to DAI on the baseline. This would be the good shot for them. It doesn't go, but she draws the foul, and that one will be on Ferguson, who's picking herself up right now with a hand from Long. And there's the foul with the chair on the legs. And DAI will shoot 2. DAI, well, I was going to say she nearly lost the ball as she brought it back, but she switched the shot through. Maybe that would be a new technique to develop. She does the same thing, so it is part of that. I hadn't noticed that before. Sort of cocks the head back, gets to give a little bit extra room to put the ball into play, and it is 28-24 in the third. Good pass up to HARNOCK. Oh, great dish to OUELLET. OUELLET is fouled, and OUELLET was going out of bounds. She got the ball back to Ferguson with a great pass, but before she did, the foul was called on Long. Canadians seem to be having problems with their straps. They're all adjusting. 13 is Jules. Tries to get into McLaughlin. Look how the Chinese collapse on her. And finally, it's DENG who forces the jump ball. Possession arrow was with Canada. They put it in, but only 6 on the shot clock. And that one's off, and the rebound by DENG. Over to Long. China coming down quickly. Look at DAI wheeling in. Long pass to Lee. It's good, and the foul. And Lee has a chance to make it a 1-point game. LALONDE coming in for Ferguson. Tianjiao Lee. And she makes it. We've got a 1-point game with 7 minutes and change in the third period. 28-27 to Canada. China have outscored Canada 7-2 so far in this third period. OUELLET, who's been very quiet so far, has a path now to the basket and puts the shot in. 30-27. Lots of motion from the Chinese. Now they set up with the screen. DAI is on the outside. LALONDE is in front of her. Over to DENG. Down low to Lee. And Lee misses that one. McLaughlin reaches over for the rebound and gives it to OUELLET. And they try to stop McLaughlin from getting down quickly. Good job by Lee to slow OUELLET down, and immediately DENG comes out on her. And there's a foul inside, no shot. As McLaughlin got her 16th rebound of the game. The foul was on DAI, that's her 3rd. Into McLaughlin, takes the shot and hits. 34-27. Excuse me, 32-27, 5-point lead for Canada. LALONDE is down and they'll pick her up. Trying to have 20 on the shot clock as Long gets it back. She'll penetrate. Wants the ball down to Lee. And it goes down to her on cue, and Lee puts it in. That was the shot they wanted. It was the shot they got. And it's as if they decided that that mismatch, Lee against whoever was guarding her down low, was one that she could take advantage of. She's got 6 points in this quarter. China have 9. And they trail Canada by 3. Oh, that's a great pass for LALONDE. LALONDE lays it up and in, 34-29. Give the assist to OUELLET there. Right down to Lee. Now that's a little bit too early because OUELLET was out on her, and they want to match her up with one of the players in the lower chairs, but Lee trying to penetrate into the paint, and from the foul line, it's DENG who backhands that shot, 34-31 now, just approaching the halfway point of the third quarter. OUELLET, Chen knocks the ball away from her, but it's picked up and just over the line by LALONDE. LALONDE has it knocked away from her. And now OUELLET, 12 on the shot clock. She'll shoot from the outside and swishes it through, 36-31. Well, you see the German fans there not caring much one way or the other. Germany will play the United States for the gold medal in the game that follows this one in this session here at the Rio Olympic Arena. Lee again inside, and the foul and the basket. So Lee with a chance to make it a 2-point game at the foul line. The foul's on Jules. That's her third. And Lee has 13 now. Make it 14, and it is a 2-point game, 36-34 with 4.5 to play in the third quarter. HAWTIN comes in for Canada, replacing Jules, who had her third foul. McLaughlin on the outside now, and DAI cuts her off. Now Lee hits her hard, and that's another good pass, and LALONDE finishes. McLaughlin had to thread the needle for that pass. LALONDE cutting through the paint, and LALONDE with the layup makes it a 4-point game with 4 minutes to play in the third. Long. Lee's outside now. DAI's trying to set up in that low spot. They've got her on LALONDE, and they like the fact she can shoot over LALONDE, and she does and hits it. 38-36, 2-point game. Pass goes up to OUELLET, and there goes McLaughlin now, and she's one-on-one. She stops to set the pick for OUELLET. Thought she was going to go in and set up down low inside, and OUELLET loses the ball, and it goes to China. I think OUELLET just lost that one herself. So China with 3.5 to play in this quarter, and a chance to tie the game now as Long brings it up. OUELLET cuts her off. Lee was setting the screen. Long came all the way in, but the pass went off Chen's hand. HAWTIN picked it up, and you've got OUELLET on the fast break, and OUELLET lays it in. It's 40-36 with 3 minutes to play in the quarter. Those are the German fans you see sitting there stony-faced. And there's a timeout called by China with 2:54 to play in the third quarter. Canada 40, China 36, and this has been better stuff than the second quarter for both teams. And China have actually outscored Canada 16-14 in the quarter so far. And they've done it by getting that same low spot, first for Lee and then for DAI. And this was the last play as HAWTIN got the ball, left it back for McLaughlin, and OUELLET was breaking for the basket and had the easy layup. 40-36 Canada. There are the leading scorers. Balanced scoring for Canada, McLaughlin, OUELLET, and LALONDE, which you almost didn't expect. You thought McLaughlin and OUELLET would have more points, especially McLaughlin. Lee and DAI, the leading scorers for China. CHENG hasn't come back in. She was in the first half, probably the best of the Chinese players, working again down low against Canada. But the surprising thing is they really haven't been able to establish McLaughlin inside except in the beginning of the game, in the first quarter. She's dominated the defensive boards, but DAI now on the other side misses, and McLaughlin again with the rebound. Up to Lalonde. OUELLET coming over, and Lalonde's pass didn't beat the 8-second clock, and she was waiting for OUELLET to come open for her. And that's another turnover for Canada, forced by China, and China with another chance in the attacking zone now as Lalonde picks up DAI immediately. Lalonde right with her, DAI in the paint, DAI with the shot, it's short, off the front rim, the rebound coming loose, but McLaughlin gathers it up and gives it quickly to Lalonde. Lalonde coming down, doesn't have the layup, turns around. OUELLET is there, McLaughlin is there, Lalonde to HARNOCK, she loses the ball, and it goes over to China, another turnover for Canada. Now China can come down with numbers. McLaughlin stopping Lee. The Canadians get back quickly to even the numbers up, and it's going to be a foul on McLaughlin. And Tamara STEEVES comes back in for Canada. Canada in the penalty situation. Lee misses the first. And makes the second. It's a three-point game, 40-37 with 1:40 to play in the third quarter. China has really taken Canada out of their game here. In this quarter, Canada's biggest offense has been fast break points, which is kind of what you would expect from the Chinese. The two teams actually run up about the same number of fast break points per game in this tournament. But the pattern game hasn't worked for them. OUELLET, and it was Lalonde had to kind of reach around with a hook shot that wouldn't go for them, and China get the rebound and come down with DAI. DAI spinning. Lee coming through the middle, Lee getting caught in the middle and now coming out. Long, she puts the long shot up. I couldn't resist. And it's an air ball that hit nothing but net, so it goes over to Canada. 40-37 Canada. They led by 6 at the half. That lead right now is 3 in the last minute of the quarter. Lalonde trying to penetrate, now turns around to McLaughlin in the paint, a little bit farther out than she'd like to be, and its shot hits the front of the rim. China rebound with 40 seconds to play, and DAI looking for the long pass up court to Long. Long into that spot for Lee, a little bit farther out for her as well, and she hits the front of the rim. But Lee gets her own rebound. The new clock for China, they can pretty much work for the last shot if they like. And there's all alone inside. There's a foul, though. The foul is before the shot. And the foul, I believe, is going to be on STEEVES. But China will shoot the foul shots. And it'll be DAI going to the line. So DAI will have a chance to pull China within 1 with 20 seconds to go. First shot's good. And DAI makes the second. It's 40-39 with 20 seconds to go. Canada can work for the last shot of the quarter if they can get it down, which has been a problem for them. There's the pressure from China. There's OUELLET, but Lalonde turns around, gets it up to McLaughlin, and McLaughlin to OUELLET, and OUELLET is going to be called for the foul. And that's her 4th. So she'll come out for these last 10 seconds rather than risk a foul. Ferguson comes in to replace her. The exception to the penalty shot is on offensive fouls, which is what that was. So China don't get the shot, but they do get the shot at the last points of the quarter, and then it misses, and Canada will hold it as the quarter ends, and they hold on to a narrow 1-point lead now over China. They led by 5 at the end of the first quarter. They led by 6 at the half, but now the lead has been reduced to 1. It is Canada 40, the People's Republic of China 39 after 3 quarters of this 5th and 6th place classification playoff. And, well, statistically, turnovers really the story of this game. 16 for Canada, 6 for China. China's shooting is coming up now. The Canadians are staying about the same, but they've gone to the free throw line now. They'd only been once in the first half. They were 7 for 8 from the free throw line in this quarter, and that's where the difference comes from. They outscored Canada by 5 in the quarter, 19-14, and it's been pressure creating Canadian turnovers that's been the difference for China. (40-39) after 3 quarters. The Chinese have fought their way back up into the game in the 3rd quarter, and they've done it with pressure, forcing turnovers by Canada and taking Canada out of the patterned kind of offensive game they would like to play, built around Janet McLaughlin inside. And DAI is going to give China their first lead in the game at 41-40. And she did it inside, where you would have expected McLaughlin to be dominant. McLaughlin only 12 points right now, 5 of 12 shooting. She does have 18 rebounds. OUELLET 6 of 10 shooting, only 12 points for her. LALONDE has 10 now for China, but China in the lead, 41-40. And the 5th place finishers in London are looking to finish 5th again in Rio de Janeiro. OUELLET from the foul line. She hits. Canada 42, China 41. DAI brings it down herself over to DENG. DENG gets the pick from long, and DENG uses the glass, and she puts it in. All of a sudden, the Chinese now have their shooting eye. It's 43-42 for China. And the other thing you have to say is that Long, who hadn't scored much in this tournament, but was the MVP of the Asian Oceania Championships, has really played a captain's game here and has been the motor of this Chinese team. HARNOCK comes back in for Canada. STEEVES comes out. The foul was on Long. That was her 3rd. And McLaughlin hits. 44-43, Canada by 1. And now the Canadians picking up over the halfway line, coming out now to play defense. DENG trying to get through and can't get past LALONDE. They've got DAI, and this is designed to push them out a little bit further. DAI's got the long shot, it rims, and McLaughlin with yet another rebound. And the quick outlet LaLonde isn't going to outrace those two down there, and she loses it to DAI, but it's off Canada. It's off DAI, and Canada will keep possession with 16 seconds on the shot clock. And here is where, even when they can set up, they have not been able to run their offense. And LaLonde just leaving that ball out there, unaware a defender was coming up behind her. Inbounded to OUELLET. Long defending on her. Now Lee comes out. She drops it to HARNOCK. Oh, good pass behind the back to LaLonde, and LaLonde is fouled and will shoot too. But what a lovely behind the back pass, behind the head pass really, to set that one up for LaLonde. LaLonde makes the first. And makes them both. 46-43 to Canada. No response still from those Germans in the crowd. Lee, she's got range, she hits. 46-45. LaLonde, there was a little opening. Now she's got an angle. Can't get the shot to go. She can't get the rebound either. McLaughlin couldn't get past as Lee was in her way. And now it's 2-on-1 for China. The pass from DAI. The shot misses, and McLaughlin comes back and pulls the rebound down emphatically. HARNOCK now. Canada have to get it across the halfway line. OUELLET looking for a pass, and they're going to be called for the 8-second violation. The 8-second is the one that has been hurting Canada the most. Long, she's the playmaker. Into DAI, in the paint, and DAI draws the foul. She'll shoot two. McLaughlin gets the foul. Jules comes in for HAWTIN. And DAI will shoot two. Watch that style again. Watch her pull her head back. It's really to just get that extra push on the ball. And she misses them both. And well, that cost Canada a point, and it's tied at 46. A little bit of an edge for LaLonde. She lays it up and in. It's 48-46 to Canada with 3 minutes gone in the fourth quarter. Then we've got a timeout called by China. 6:58 to play in the game. Canada 48, China 46. That entering the free throw lane early is an interesting one. It almost never gets called until the fourth quarter when it becomes crucial. And sometimes it's called for the innocuous motion and occasionally for players who are actually trying to gain an unfair advantage. But it's one of those that's the rule is basically observed more in its breaking than the keeping of it. You got to, Coach Zhu really has come up with a good plan for this game, and you have to be really impressed with the way they've taken Canada out of their game. They've used pressure to take away both this pattern game and to create numerous turnovers by the Canadians, and that is why it is a 2-point game right now, and the lead has been seesawing back and forth between the Canadians and the Chinese. So China inbound, just under 7 minutes to play, 2 points down to Canada. Long at the top, and that was poked away by OUELLET for the steal. A turnover to Canada, up to Lalonde, and there's a foul. And that foul was one that was basically, it's pseudo-intentional. In other words, you give the foul rather than give Canada the break coming down, and you try not to make it too obvious that you're giving a deliberate foul. HARNOCK now, nobody picks her up. Her shot drops, and that's a good one for Canada. They haven't had those easy baskets, and China, concerned more with McLaughlin underneath. HARNOCK just could walk it in, and Canada now lead by 4. DAI gives it to Long. Now watch where DAI goes. Into the lane, sets the pick. They give her the ball in the lane. She sits for a bit, lines up her shot, and makes it. It's 50-48. And again, the pressure from China. And there's a steal, almost a steal. It went off Deng's hands. Underneath now is Lalonde. She can't get the shot to go, but McLaughlin's there, uses her left hand. She was so far under the basket. And again, it's a 4-point game for Canada. Offensive rebound. Canada 8-3. Sarah McLaughlin with the rebound and the points. DAI now brings it down again. She was quiet in the first half. They've started to go to her, and she's risen to the occasion. The more China goes to her, the better she's been playing. Good pass, cross court. Lee with her spot on the baseline. Can't get it to go. HARNOCK with the rebound for Canada. Up to Lalonde across the halfway line. 2-on-3 now for Canada. So Lalonde pulls up and waits for help. McLaughlin coming down there. Lalonde looking and watching McLaughlin to see if she can get the pass to her. And McLaughlin couldn't even get her chair loose as both DAI and Long were cutting her off. And now substitution for China. The cheers are for something going on in the crowd. Also substitution for Canada. Long goes out and Lee comes in for her, which is interesting because Long had been doing all the ball handling for China. And now that task moves over to Deng. Deng to Lee, and Lee overshoots the basket. And McLaughlin doesn't let that one go out. She takes it and brings it over the halfway line herself. At the 3-point mark now, at the foul line. Now they double team her and she tries to get it into Lalonde, and again, that one goes awry. It's too difficult to pass, really, to connect on. Nobody touched it. So another turnover for Canada, and the ball goes over to China with 4.5 minutes to play in the game, and Canada leading by just 4. DAI now takes it herself, inside, good shot, and it drops. Deng has 10. The game is 2, under 4 minutes now. McLaughlin. HARNOCK. And there's a foul inside on CHEN. And that's Xuejing CHEN, not Damei CHEN, who hasn't played yet in this game. to McLaughlin at the foul line. She puts the shot up, it hits the rim, and the rebound is stolen by Lee. HARNOCK had it. DAI with the long pass down. OUELLET's in defensive position. DENG has to turn around. Now LALONDE comes out on her. She gives it to DAI, who's the trailer. DAI has a screen, and DAI has the shot, and DAI ties it up at 52 with 3:20 to play. We are tied. LALONDE. And you see China can come down and they can pretty much set up and get those shots as long as they don't go too far inside. Canada, though, having all kinds of trouble setting things up. And there's a foul by Lee with the chair blocking LALONDE, and that one should be shot now. And it is. OUELLET goes to the foul line as China are in the penalty situation with 3 minutes to play in the game and tied at 52. LALONDE misses the first. Sorry, OUELLET misses the first and misses the second. And they say OUELLET came over the line while she was shooting. So that's the second time now Canada's had foul line infractions in the last 2 minutes. And the first one's called in the game. That's the first one called in any game that I've seen in the tournament for going over the free throw line on the shot. DENG, and the pass to Lee is too high, and that's a rare turnover to China, from China now. We're still tied at 52. OUELLET bringing it up to LALONDE. McLaughlin trying to ease into position. You see how the Chinese retreat and then wait to pick her up, whichever side she goes to. They're going to double team her. OUELLET, 5 on the shot clock, needs to get a shot off, and she does. It hits the rim, it's rebounded by DAI. She protects the ball, then turns around and starts up for China. Oh, a good pass ahead, but it's stolen by McLaughlin, taken back, and finally taken back again by McLaughlin, up to OUELLET. OUELLET now. Good pass to LALONDE. LALONDE, the basket and the foul for Canada. And they take a 2-point lead with a chance to make it 3 with 2:11 to play. And Rosalie LALONDE will go to the foul line and shoot one shot to make it a 3-point play. Look at the Canadian bench. All the women on the bench have their arms on each other's shoulders, or at least all the ones in warm-up jerseys. And LALONDE swishes it through. 55-52 to Canada, 2:11 to play in the game. You can see some of the Dutch players who will get their medals after the gold medal game sitting in the crowd watching this one. Oh, great pass down to Lee, and she misses the shot. The rebound comes to McLaughlin. It was tipped to her, and McLaughlin to OUELLET with just 2 minutes to go now in the game. Canada by 3, OUELLET with the ball. McLaughlin coming in now, going into the paint. OUELLET puts the shot up, and it's good. It's 57-52, a 5-point lead for Canada. And there's a timeout called by China with 1:49 to play, and they trail by 5, 57-52. They got the good position, and the shot would go for them, and Canada came right back with the loose ball off of McLaughlin's rebound. She has 23 rebounds so far in this game. Referee holding the Canadians from coming back on the court. Another one that we don't see very often. China will inbound with 1:49 to play. They've got the full 24 on the clock. And Long is back in the game. The captain, again, goes to the top of the key. Puts a great pass into DAI, but before she can get the shot off, she's fouled by HARNOCK. That's only the team's second. So that stopped an open shot. And Long, very calm. That's why they put the ball in her hands to distribute it. Into DAI, shoots over OUELLET off the glass and misses McLaughlin with another rebound. That's 24, and China will have to think about fouling now, but instead they almost got the turnover. LALONDE, though, picked it up, gave it to OUELLET, and OUELLET picks it in. What a bad break for China. China forced the turnover, but it came away, and LALONDE picked it up and very alertly hit OUELLET heading for the hoop, and OUELLET got the easy layup, and now it's a 7-point game. DENG now for China. That won't fall for her, but DAI has the rebound. She doesn't turn around to put it up with McLaughlin on her, and then it's knocked away from her by HARNOCK, and China will inbound with just over a minute to play and 11 seconds on the shot clock. What a bad break that was for China, who got a crucial turnover and then just couldn't pick it up. DAI having trouble getting the shot away against OUELLET. There's 2 on the clock now. It goes back to DAI, and she does not get it. It was after the buzzer. Another bad break because she banked that one right in. But there's now 50 seconds to play, and China obviously now going to full court pressure. McLaughlin, they inbound it to her. Up to OUELLET. OUELLET to LALONDE, breaking that through, and LALONDE lays it in. It's 61-52. And Canada have played their best basketball of the game in the last 2 minutes of it. When it got close, Canada finally responded to China's pressure. DENG now. She's got Lee setting the screen for her, and DENG's shot goes in and out, and yet another rebound for Sarah McLaughlin. And the lead pass, again, a lucky one for Canada, and the layup by OUELLET. It went off HARNOCK's chair, but it went right into OUELLET's hands, and OUELLET laid it in, and all of a sudden this game is Canada's. And OUELLET now has 20 points. You couldn't make this stuff up. That's why we love sport. And the clock just counting down. And well, what a heartbreaking loss for China. They finished 5th in London at the 2012 Paralympic Games. They will finish 6th in this tournament as Canada has beaten them 63-52. But an amazing performance with a little bit of luck by the Canadians, who, once the game was tied at 52-52, scored the last 11 points of the game. They dominated the final 3 minutes and 22 seconds, playing the best basketball they played in the entire game. And China, whose pressure had worked so well to get them into that tie after a slow start, 52-52, they were tied with Canada, and Canada turned it on in the last few minutes. McLaughlin punishing every missed shot with a rebound. They were able to get the fast break points thanks to a couple of lucky rolls of the ball, and they come out the winners and the 5th place finishers in this tournament by a score of 63-50.